For so long, Warsword Conquest was one of the biggest mods of the Warband age, taking players from medieval Calradia into the world of fantasy in Warhammer. It came out at a time that Warhammer was a big stage, but it was nothing compared to what it is now. With the releases of the Total War Warhammer games, the Games Workshop IP has never been bigger. And of course, since Bannerlord's come out, the beta of the modding tools and promises of complete flexibility within the game and its modding development, modders have returned. They've returned to the Warhammer world and they're bringing us with them. This is the old world. It is set at the time of Karl Franz's ascension to the throne. It brings players back into this world that we haven't played in for so long, bringing us all the factions, the races, the weapons, the armor that we can all ever dream of to play as. You'll have monsters, you'll have humans, you'll have ghouls, you'll have everything that you can think of from the Warhammer Fantasy world. It is more based on the original fantasy, not Age of Sigmar, but we're still going to get so many crossovers with factions and races within that. On launch though, we're going to have the Empire, the Dwarves and the Vampire Count. They're all going to be the playable races, and of course later on they're planning on adding way more. Hopefully we'll get all the factions from the old world and of course their races as well. Even, might I add, the Beastmen, but we are focused on Empire, Dwarves and Vampire Counts for obvious reasons. Trying to focus on certain factions means that they're going to be able to put more detail into them, and we're also going to get the mod playable earlier. But within these factions, they want to make it actually possible to play with and as different races. For example, if you're playing as the Greenskins, then you can have the Orcs, you can have Goblins, you can have Trolls, you can have different clans coming together, maybe helping or even fighting each other. It is your chance to make the real Warg in Mount and Blade. Now that we have the massive battle sizes that Taleworlds have brought us, we can have thousands of troops on the battlefield at the same time, all from different races and factions within the Warhammer universe. Now, let's talk about some of the things that have been answered in some of the Q&As that the mod developers have done in the past, and trust me, they've talked about a lot. I will bring this up later on, but these guys are so communicative with their community, and it helps to no end when I'm making videos like this, and I'm sure it's going to excite you as much as it's excited me. They're hoping to add professions and titles to your characters and NPCs throughout the world. It doesn't matter who you are, where you're starting as, or what person you're playing as, you can gain titles and you can get jobs. This will help determine special quests and missions that can spawn. So maybe you want to be a witch hunter, you'll get specific missions and quests in order to accommodate that choice of playstyle and profession that you have chosen. Of course, all these things are limited by what Taleworlds give us, but these are the intentions, and if it is what Taleworlds say we're going to be able to do, these could all be possible. On the battlefield, Warhammer is known for its artillery and its unique artillery, having things like organ guns, doom diver catapults, rock lobbers, all of the above. Are they going to be in? Well, currently, that is the hope. Of course, currently we have siege engines in the base game in native, so it's not going to be too hard just to retexture them and maybe change a few of the mechanics in the sieges, but field artillery is going to be more of an issue. That is the aim, to be able to use these artillery on the field as well as in sieges, but of course, once again, the limitations of Bannerlord are going to have to be sorted out later on in development. But furthermore, these artilleries with their unique playstyles are also going to have different variations in terms of ammo that can be fired. I mean, Doom Diver catapults sort of explain themselves. Magic is a big part of the Warhammer games, and it's not going to be any different here. Hopefully magic is going to be a part of Bannerlord, and we've even seen in some basic mods that they've brought out so far in the game. I mean, nothing compared to the level of what this mod is going to be, but it has been possible to create these magic spells and use them throughout when you're doing your campaign. Hopefully it'll be in depth, and hopefully there'll be many different spells. Maybe they're going to bring in mana costs, but I think that's something that's going to be later on. For now, they're focusing on blood and steel, just trying to get the troops into the game, playable, and working with all the different factions. Warhammer is all about the lore. It's all about the background of the worlds, and the reason Games Workshop and his IPs are so popular is because they really focus on it. People don't just buy Warhammer because they're cool models to paint and play with, because you can buy cool models to paint and play with wherever. You can buy historical minis, you can buy other fantasy minis, but the reason that Warhammer is the most popular is because of the lore and the world that they have built up, and that is not going to be any different within the old world mod coming to Bannerlord. Currently, they have been working on lore and background for all the characters that you're going to be able to play. Of course, if you want to, you can role play it yourself and create a background for your character within the game, but this can change. Of course, you can choose to start as a soldier or a lord or a peasant or an adventurer, and you could hopefully have different starts within this. You might start with better armor armor and weapons if you start with a soldier or someone higher up in class, or if you just want to start as a lonely adventurer, you're going to have nothing, and you're going to have that very typical Mount and Blade start that we've all seen. But all the characters and NPCs you're going to come across are going to have backgrounds written out for them. They've done the Empire, and it looks like they're going to work on the Orcs at the moment. So yes, they are confirmed in the game, but that was pretty much a given. But I've spoken enough about the mods myself, let's let the devs have a say. What I'm about to show you is all the video information that you've been seeing in the background, but we're going to take a deeper dive and analyze what we're actually seeing here and take a look at some more extra bits of info and videos that the dev team have released. You can see here the details on the shields and the weaponry looks insane. The gold, the gems, the sigils, you can tell the advantages that Bannerlord has given modders when it comes to visual fidelity. We looked back at the World of Ice and Fire mod comparisons between what they had for Warband and now the possibilities they have in Bannerlord when it comes to the details in each of the arms and armor. Of course, you can see in these videos they're showing off different shields that will fit with each class of dwarves. May it be a more defensive style or a more aggressive style. May it be the gunners that stand at the back, or even the longbeards at the front with their big axes and hammers and shields. These different weapons will cater towards the different types of play style that not only the NPCs and the troops on the battlefield can use, but you will be able to use as well. When it comes to one-handed weapons though, of course hammers are always king in Warhammer. The name speaks for itself. Smashing your way through the enemy, crushing through shields, it's gonna be a bloodbath. Various axes and swords are of course included in the dwarf races, which is the main faction that they're currently working on at the moment. Speaking of dwarves, they're still making progress on the armors, but the weapons are looking nearly done at this point, at least from what we've been shown. The assets are so refined at this point. So it looks like this is the first faction that will be playable and released into the game. I mean, just look at the dwarven armor. Belagor Ironhammer is going to look mighty fine. Jesus. But hey, it isn't just dwarves. We do have a couple of bits of concept art and assets coming at us from the vampire counts as well. Here you can see the immaculate design creating a custom look that fits perfectly within the chosen faction. I don't know how they're going to do ghouls and undead type things, but I can't wait to see what they can come up with. Of course, there's going to be much of an implementation with magic and spells and necromancy here, but I guess we're going to have to find out when the mod is further on in development. But my favourite has to be the two-handed axes. The sheer power that these guys radiate is immense. The time and effort that has gone into every single design to make it fearsome yet beautiful at the same time, and of course, like most worlds, using lore accurate models, but also using their own creative license and vision to create a perfect fit for the game that they're implementing these mods into. I love the amount of footage that we have of this mod so far, and if the developers are watching this, please don't stop. Keep releasing blogs and especially these videos displaying everything that you're working on, because it helps to no end showing us what we can expect when we finally get our hands on this modification, and of course it makes it easier for me to make videos like this so I can help promote these mods for you. And speaking of that, the developers have been so kind to bring out all this information, and they've been so communicative with their audience that I think it is really important that we support that, because more mod developers should be doing this. Links in the description to their Discord and of course the YouTube channel and ModDB page showing off all their stuff. Make sure you go and check it out, tell them I sent you, and let them know what you think of it so far. But that is the old world. The Warhammer mod coming to Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord. What are your thoughts on it? What do you think they should add in, and do you think it's going to be possible to add in everything that they're hoping to do? Make sure you leave a comment down below and leave a like on this video, because it helps more than you could ever know. But until then, I will see you in the next one.